I did the Corps in South Louisiana in 2015, and I had the privilege of teaching kindergarten at Baton Rouge Burge Academy. I think about one of my students, his name was Antonio. Bright student, so smart. He came in knowing all of his letters and all of his sounds. So within about 2 months, he was already reading, and he just had so much potential, and I loved it. But of course, like every 5-year-old little boy, Antonio was super hyper, all over the place, wasn't the best with following directions. But when it was time to actually sit down and do his work, he either wouldn't do it or he'd do it really, really fast and he'd get done. And then he'd just sit there and he'll be like, "Miss Love, I'm done." And so that presented a challenge to me as a teacher because one, he had so much potential and I really had to figure out how I could maximize his potential. But two, I had to figure out a way to get through to him and to explain to even a 5-year-old that when we're in school, it's time for us to learn. And together, we can do some really amazing things, but I need you to follow directions so that I can be the best teacher for you. Antonio went on and he thrived. Along with his parents, we worked with him. We helped him understand what it meant to be in school and what it meant to follow directions. Once he kind of got the hang of it, he went from, being on grade level in kindergarten to reading on a 2nd grade level by the end of the year. And that speaks volumes to me because a lot of our kids here in Orlando, they have the potential. They are smart as can be, but sometimes their either home environment or even the school environment can cause them to act out in ways that they normally don't. And so as teachers or as individuals, we have to ask ourselves, how exactly are we bringing out the best in our kids? Are we letting their behavior or are we letting outside circumstances dictate their future? Or will we actually take a step back, analyze the situation, and figure out the exact best way to bring out his best potential? I'm really glad that with Antonio, I didn't let his behavior stop me from being the best teacher that I can be. I check up on Antonio often, and he's actually in the 2nd grade now, on a trajectory to go on to be college and career ready, just because his kindergarten teacher saw his potential and saw that one day Antonio can be great, and one day Antonio can be anything that he wants to be, just like every child in this country, and that's definitely true for every child in Orlando.